Good morning and welcome. The chime of the bell beckons us to a sacred time. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. We extend a heartfelt and inclusive invitation to join us in meaningful worship and in service to the world. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor, honrando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todos. We greet all those who join us this morning. We hope those watching the live stream will fill out the online attendance form and go to firstuuhouston.org to learn of our many resources and activities. We ask those of you here in person to take a moment after the service and introduce yourself to someone you don't know yet. Now, please join Doctors Batiste and De Souza and the Sanctuary Choir for our opening hymn.
Please rise in body and or spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, 361 in the Great Hymnal.
You know it's going to be good when the tambourine comes out, right? We gather this morning as one community, a community united by common ideals: love, justice, diversity, freedom, mutual care, equity. Yet look around. Look at the faces of those around you. Each face represents an individual. Every one of us with our own story, needs, strengths, and faults. We gather today honoring our common connection and also the uniqueness that lives within each one of us. Come, let us worship together.
Celebremos compartiendo nuestras vidas, encendiendo esa luz.
Please join with me in saying our covenant. Spirit of the congregation, service is our prayer to go together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to word one another. Thus do we covenant.
I'm going to read a poem. So if any of the kiddos would like to come up and join me and sit on the big blue dot, that would be great, because I'd like to see your faces. Oh, yay, we got a lot of people. Very cool. Uh-oh, where are we going to sit? There we go. Perfect. This is a book that I'm going to talk about in the sermon in a little bit, and I thought it might be fun if I read a poem from it. This is a book that was popular when I was a bit older than you all, way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. So it's all on one page, and there's really not a lot of illustrations, so I'm not going to hold it up like this. I'm just going to read it. All right. And this is called No One Else by Elaine Laren. Now, someone else can tell you how to multiply by 3, and someone else can tell you how to spell Schenectady, and someone else can tell you how to ride a 2-wheeled bike, but no one else can tell you what to like. An engineer can tell you how to run a railroad train. A map can tell you where to find the capital of Spain. A book can tell you all the names of every star above. But no one else can tell you who to love. Your Aunt Louise can tell you how to plant a pumpkin seed. Your cousin Frank can tell you how to catch a centipede. Your mom and dad can tell you how to brush between each meal. But no one else can tell you how to feel. For how you feel is how you feel. And all the whole world through, no one else knows that as well as you. Great. So now the adults are going to look in their order of service for the words to As You Go, and they're going to sing while you all head out. And who am I sending you to? There'll be an adult back there. I just can't see who it is.
As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go.
Appreciate the choirs staying to sing for both services. That was a very nice piece today. Thank you. Theologian Walter Brueggemann, who passed away 1 year ago this week, told us, prayer is a refusal to settle for what is. We join in this time of quiet to settle our minds in the midst of a world that is full of unsettling news. May this time of calm help us to resolve to not settle for what is, but to work toward creating a better what can be. With intention and care, we settle into a time of calm. This is a time that some call meditation and others name prayer. And this morning, I share this meditation by Kayla Parker. Spirit of the universe, life force that flows through all beings, power beyond our knowing. We ask you to help us see beyond our dependence on opposites, to transcend our desire to know who is like us and who is not. Open us to the knowledge that in this room there are complexities and diversities of identities, beyond black and white, old and young, woman and man, poor and rich, uneducated and educated, disabled and able-bodied, gay or straight, ill and healthy, wrong and right, broken and whole. In this room, there are people who embody juxtaposition, who can tell stories written on their bodies about both and neither, who carry intimate pieces of the truth that there is no such thing as opposites. Spirit of many names and of no name at all, help us find release from our belief that all things must be either or, this belief that walls us off from one another, ensnaring us in a battle of same versus different. Help us to open our minds to deeply listen and to truly know one another, finally glimpsing the kaleidoscope beauty of the divine. We pray in the names of all helpers of humankind. Amen. We pause now together to lift up that which sits light and heavy on our hearts. John Kubica is hospitalized after a recent procedure, and we wish him a quick recovery. Pandora Johnson's memorial service has been scheduled for Saturday, June 27th at 11 a.m. here in the sanctuary. All are welcome to attend, and you are encouraged to wear a colorful outfit in Pandora's memory. Our hearts go out to the displaced and the families of the dead and injured in the apartment explosion in my and Conrad's neighborhood in Dallas. And we put this book in the foyer that you may write joys and concerns as you enter the sanctuary. And today, someone asks us to please keep Earl Dredge on your thoughts. He's having surgery on Tuesday. Time to be determined. Oh, that means what time it's going to be. I thought they were telling us, it's time to be determined. It just occurred to me. No, they just don't know what time it is. Okay. So, however you want to read that, right? Oh, my. Misha Barach is a prayer in the Jewish tradition for the healing of those whose names are called out by congregants. There are similar practices in the African, indigenous, and pagan traditions. We honor these rituals by saying aloud or bringing to mind those who we wish to be held by the loving embrace of this religious community. They are part of the great cloud of witness and memory, and we will, even if we do not know their names, hold them in our hearts. In this great cloud of witness and memory, amid this beloved community, we hear these names and hold them in our hearts. Let us remember the suffering and joy amid and among our community that we do not know. It has been written, "Let me find peace within so that I may be calm throughout. Let me find silence within so that I may find compassion throughout." In the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite each of you to enter into a time of silent prayer, meditation, or reflection.
Each week, our morning offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. This week, we are donating to the UU Trauma Response Ministry. Known by UUTRM, this group provides timely, multi-level, culturally sensitive spiritual care to Unitarian Universalist survivors of mass disasters and other critical incidents that may lead to trauma. Those in our sanctuary will find instructions for text giving in the order of service next to the name of the shared offering recipient, and those watching the live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask you to give generously. An offering will now be gratefully received.
Please join with me in saying the dedication to the offering, which can be found in your order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings. Miriam Margolyes is an accomplished British and Australian actress, perhaps best known for her portrayal of Professor Sprout in the Harry Potter film series. She is a frequent, outspoken, and bawdy, to put it mildly, guest on the Graham Norton Show. And the first reading is her response in an interview to the question, "What do you think is the best thing about aging?" She replied, "The best thing is not bothering anymore. I don't care. I don't care what you think of me. I want you to like me. I hope you do. And if you don't, tough, you know. I think it's important to be who you are, to know who you are. By the time you're 84, you know who you are. I'm not going to pretend. It's not in my nature. So I think the confidence that only death is going to shut me up, that's it." Here ends the first reading.
Writer and poet John Rodell wrote a poem with 9 numbered sections and prefaced it by saying, "Dear fellow seekers, I have 9 things in my heart I need to say to you in case we never meet again." The second reading contains 3 of those sections that he wrote. Number 1, the people who come to steal your wonder are often the same folks who let others freely take theirs long ago. Never let go of your ability to be amazed by the spectacle of our world. Become a living witness to the million beautiful curiosities of your life. Don't let anything become mundane. All of your experiences are soaked in magic. The good and the bad, the happy and the sad, the hilarious and the mad. Some people will want you to treat your pulse like it's boring. It's anything but. Your life is bathed in stardust. Part 7. Every breath you take is proof that your existence is a singular event. There will never be anybody else like you again. Every time you exhale, it sends a fresh ripple through the galaxy. Be fearless. And reading number 9. Don't become forgetful of your dignity or that one that I better try again. Don't become forgetful of your dignity, or that on the day each of you were born, you were covered in the dust of the first day creation. You, yes, you were forged out of the most brilliant of celestial fires. Never take for granted all that radiates in you. You were born to blaze. Don't forget. Don't forget. Don't forget. Here ends the reading.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn 1029 in the teal hymnal. Love knocks and waits for us to hear. Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love offers life in spite of foes who threaten and condemn. Embracing in the peace love goes a second mile with them. Love comes to heal the broken heart, to ease the troubled mind. Without a word, love bids us start to ask and seek and find. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings and dances all around and feels new life begin.
Almost a year ago, I began my sermon about the anniversary of national marriage equality with a quip by humorist Robert Benchley. There are 2 kinds of people in the world: those who divide the world into two kinds of people and those who don't. I'm reminded of the T-shirt that has printed on it. There are two types of people in the world. Number one, those who can extrapolate from incomplete data. This morning, I'm again considering dichotomies, but instead of between kinds of people, between other kinds of dualities. But not polar opposites, not things that never the twain shall meet. I've mentioned yin and yang in previous sermons. An article I read described yin and yang as the concept that there exist cosmic principles or forces that are opposite but complementary, which interact, interconnect, support, and perpetuate each other. Together, they form a dynamic system in which the whole is greater than the interdependent components. And both parts are essential for the cohesion of the whole. Now, this is visually represented by the typical black and white yin-yang symbol. I found a more aesthetically pleasing golden-hued version for today. You can find it in your order of service next to the name of the sermon. Most folks immediately think of the two tadpole shapes curved around one another, but you may not remember that there are dots in each side representing the other side. They may be opposite, but they are interconnected and complementary. There is often a tension between two things, often considered incompatible, a tension that sometimes can fuel creativity. I just read about Filippo Scorsanelli, an openly gay Italian designer. He has not only designed and hand-stitched the vestments for Pope Leo XIV, but for the two previous popes as well. Vogue named Pope Leo one of the 55 best-dressed people of 2025, knocking me off the list. Scorsanelli has been openly gay the entire time and navigates the balance with his Christianity with aplomb. I've never seen faith and sexuality as a battle, but as a creative tension that fuels my work, he told the Daily Mail. My experience of the church has always been one of welcome. No one has ever stopped me at the threshold of a church. I began thinking about these exchanges and tensions as well, and wanted to give a nod to Pride Month, which begins tomorrow. I mentioned yin and yang in my sermon on the International Trans Day of Visibility last year. I realized that there is this interplay between seeming opposites, individual and community, not only in the LGBT community, but in our UU congregations. The Pride Parade in Houston is this upcoming Saturday, and look for Mary in Channing Hall because she can give you all the info. The celebration is typically later in the month, but because of the FIFA World Cup, it was moved. FIFA actually begins here in Houston the weekend of my last sermon, which Conrad and I realized when we were quoted hotel room rates for guests we have attending. I then realized considering these dualities often pops up in my sermons, head versus heart, spiritual versus religious. I'm going to briefly revisit those before focusing on individual versus community. Back in January of 2021, I began thinking about the tension many UUs have between our head and our heart. In that sermon, I talked about the first source of our living tradition, direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. Many of us are more comfortable with our sense of reason than our sense of wonder and awe. We sometimes associate mystery and wonder with discarded lessons from rejected childhood religions and gravitate toward those things we can fully understand, those things we can quantify and explain. Too often, those stories and concepts from our youth were delivered with the expectation that the interpretation we were given was the only acceptable one, and the consequences of examining other interpretations would be dire. But like many of the things I'm considering today, I think there's a sweet spot where, like in the definition of yin and yang, they form a dynamic system in which the whole is greater than the interdependent components. It seems to me that if the pendulum swings too far to the analytical, we miss out on the joy and awe of a universe that is, if we're humble enough to admit it, too big and complex for our understanding. I mean, how much can we extrapolate from incomplete data anyway? If it goes too far in the opposite direction, we are susceptible to being handed beliefs by authority figures that make little to no sense. I believe it's better to keep the pendulum closer to the middle, where our heart is tempered by reason and our head is willing to accept the transcending mystery and wonder. Now, I've shared with you before that I have an entire zoological garden of pet peeves. Using the term soundtrack instead of original cast recording is perhaps my most esoteric. I penned an angry letter to the magazine Entertainment Weekly about their inability to distinguish between the two. Another is spiritual but not religious, a phrase I believe born out of a misunderstanding of what religion can and should be. It's another dichotomy I'll reference this morning to segue into my main point. A topic of much discussion when I was in seminary was the SBNR, people claiming to be spiritual but not religious. These are people who embrace the concept of seeking a spiritual dimension to their life, but reject the rules and dogma of much of organized religion. To them, it's either or, but I contend it's more nuanced than that. But I understand their point. What one sees of much of organized religion in our country today would, I would think, give few intelligent or empathetic people eager to sign on. We would not have families in concentration camps or citizens shot in the face for protesting had it not been for the evangelical support of this administration. In the fall, Nina and I facilitated a workshop called Surviving Religious Trauma. It was for folks who lived through high-control religious experiences when they were young, something hard to overcome without an intentional effort to do so. There have been people who have found our church, and because we mentioned Jesus or Christianity, were so triggered they had to stop coming, and that's intense. It's been my experience that, and I admit I'm painting with a very broad brush here, many people who find a UU church have either survived a traumatic, high-control religion in their youth, those who didn't attend church at all in their youth, or couples from different faith traditions who want a faith community for their children. It strikes me that those who post anti-religious screeds on social media are thinking exclusively of these high-control religions, which we are not, and thus my problem with their assertions. The posts invariably define spirituality as an individual effort, free from the controlling machinations of a greedy, creedal church. As I've been saying, it's not either or. It's not spirituality or religion. At a UU church, you can explore your individual spirituality and still participate in the community. At that Surviving Religious Trauma workshop, I shared my belief that religion, when done correctly, is not controlling. It is spirituality plus community. Perhaps the best of both worlds. High-control religious groups dictate what spirituality looks like. But we, like the SBNR, believe it's a personal endeavor. It's not stipulated by others, but can be informed by and encouraged by others. How nice to be sitting next to someone who's found a connection to that which is larger than all of us, but they're doing it in a way we may not have ever considered. You may come to a service where Reverend Colin talks about Hinduism and spirituality, and Nina leads an embodiment ritual. Someone may share the title of a book they're reading that opens a whole new world to you. So, spiritual but not religious segues right into individual versus community. But like the aforementioned, are not opposites, but a dynamic system in which the whole is greater than the interdependent components. My contention is that once we have accepted ourselves as we are as an individual, we can find our true community. Both of these things, though, can be incredibly difficult. And sadly, many people don't ever get there. And being an individual in community is very different than being a face in the crowd. German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "People will call you arrogant when you no longer need their approval. They will call you strange when you stop imitating them. And they will call you lost the moment you begin thinking for yourself. Because nothing frightens people more than a person who no longer belongs to the crowd." It occurred to me that this tracks both for the LGBTQ community as well as UU congregations. The high-control religious groups are gender-based hierarchies where women, children, and gender non-conforming people are all at the bottom. The male authority figures cite inerrant proclamations about both religious beliefs and acceptable sexual and gender norms. To question them is to risk losing not only one's community, but allegedly eternal soul. Some who question those religious beliefs leave. Some are thrown out of their church. Sadly, some swear off any and all organized religion, but happily others find the UU church. Some who question their sexuality or gender identity leave. Some are thrown out of their church. Some teenagers are even thrown out of their homes. Some are lucky enough to find a healthy LGBTQ community like the Montrose Center or a welcoming congregation like a UU church. Some beliefs about what is acceptable are handed down to children but are more subtle. In the early 70s, actress Marlo Thomas wanted to teach her young niece Dion that it was acceptable to reject gender stereotypes that are expressed in children's books of the period. She told her sister it would take Dion 30 years to get over such stories. So, while searching for children's books that didn't enforce gender stereotypes, she literally couldn't find any. She says, "I was in the bookstore one day looking around and found a picture book titled, 'I'm Glad I'm a Boy, I'm Glad I'm a Girl,' that showed a pilot on one page and a stewardess on a facing page with a caption that read, 'Boys are pilots, girls are stewardesses.' Well, I nearly had a heart attack right there in the bookstore," she said. That's how the book, which I read from earlier, and a record and TV special as well, Free to Be You and Me, was born. Old habits and beliefs die hard. Senator Jean Dornink had apparently read "I'm Glad I'm a Boy, I'm Glad I'm a Girl," because just 2 years ago, during a Senate hearing, he asked pilot Laura Hayner, a first officer for Delta, "So, can you tell me what a typical work week looks like for you as a stewardess?" You can find it on YouTube. Which, and you'll be stunned to learn this, reminds me of a Broadway show. The musical Come From Away is based on the events in the Newfoundland town of Gander during the week following the September 11th attacks, when 38 planes carrying approximately 7,000 passengers were ordered to land unexpectedly at Gander International Airport. And Gander is a town of only 10,000 people. One of the characters is based on an actual person whose story was turned into the song Me and the Sky. Beverly Bass is a pilot who had been diverted to Gander. The song tells of her fascination since she was a child of airplanes, airports, and flying. She apparently never read "I'm Glad I'm a Boy, I'm Glad I'm a Girl." In 1986, she became the first female captain of an American Airlines commercial plane. Later that year, she captained the first all-female crew at American Airlines from Washington, D.C. to Dallas, Texas. Also inspired by true events and based on the British film, the musical Kinky Boots features the rousing final number, Raise You Up, Just Be. In the middle of the number, Lola, played by the inimitable Billy Porter, shares the 6-part secret to success. 1, pursue the truth. 2, learn something new. 3, accept yourself and you'll accept others too. 4, let love shine. 5, let pride be your guide. 6, you change the world when you change your mind. Oddly, 160 years before Cyndi Lauper wrote those words, Henry David Thoreau said much the same thing with admittedly less inclusive language. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him. Or the old laws be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense. And he will live with the license of a higher order of beings. Now, when I was in college, there weren't many places in eastern Kentucky where individuals could be themselves as a gay kid, where we could accept ourselves so we could accept others too. Just bars in the theater department. Few places one could find community. Certainly not LGBT community centers or welcome and open and affirming congregations. My college town in the foothills of Appalachia is where County Clerk Kim Davis would later refuse several same-gender residents their right to marry, becoming a national cause célèbre. Perhaps not surprisingly, there wasn't a UU church there when I attended. The dearth of welcoming and safe spaces for the queer community is why, in June of 1969, there was such a violent reaction. The Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village was yet again raided by police. Despite beatings by the police, it was one of the few relatively safe spaces for people whose gender identity didn't match what society said it was and was supposed to be. People in the United States are again under attack. Immigrants, the poorest and most vulnerable of our neighbors, the LGB and especially T individuals, the sick, the elderly, the hungry. Individuals need community, and people who need the strength of one another to fight for justice come together in community. Individuals need community, and people who are learning to accept themselves come together in community. People who need a safe space come together in community. We all need community because people who gather to widen love's circle come together in community. Amen.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn 1014 found in the teal hymnal. Standing on the side of love, we will be singing instead, Answering the Call of Love. The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering proclaim we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Please join me in the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I've chosen a benediction this morning, which was written by Eileen B. Carpelis. As we part now one from another, let these be our thoughts. If that which is most holy lies within the human person, and if the greatest power in the world shines flickering and uncertain from each individual heart, then it is easy to see the value of human associations dedicated to nurturing that light. The couple, the family, the religious community. For the power of good in any one of us must at times waver, but when a group together is dedicated to the nurturing the power of good, it is rare for the light to grow dim in all individuals at the same moment. So, we borrow courage and wisdom from one another to warm us and keep us until we are together again. Go in peace.